Ravi Vishwanath is joining us this morning to talk about how the current economic situation is weighing on job growth outlook. Ravi, thanks for being with us today. Now, we've all been tracking the kind of weak sentiment across sectors currently. Let's first go through the highlights of your biannual report and really what it's indicating for H2.
Okay. So from our perspective, we have seen some amount of uptick in hiring in certain key sectors. We've always said that going forward for the next 18 to 24 months, a large part of the hiring is going to come from BFSI, it's going to come from e-commerce, it's going to come from logistics, it's going to come from some of these new age economies actually. And that's where even we are seeing some of the offtake, which is say between October, November, that's where we have seen some of the growth coming in from. Some large deals have been deferred, some large transition deals have been deferred, but in our own case, the small and medium enterprises, which actually constitute to a very large number of accounts for us, we have seen some kind of growth between October and November. So yes, I think hiring has picked up. It's been a little slow, but it has picked up slightly.
Of pickup, 8 becoming 8.5 is also pickup, but that is not real growth.
I completely agree, but given that it was actually going down over the last couple of months, we see a reversal of trend between October and November. And if you see, even the GST collections in November are actually better than what it was in October, because these are all indicators of what's happening in the economy. So I would say, we'll have to wait for at least another month. We'll have to wait to see how December pans out before we can draw any kind of conclusion on whether hiring is, whether there's been a slowdown or whether there's been a pickup. We'll probably know only after looking at it at least over a 3-month period.
Where is the silver lining? Most of the major cyclicals and industrial sectors are suffering. IT is going through a reboot, so to speak, in terms of technology and skill. Pharma is in a doldrum, auto is in a mess. Now you are the first harbinger of indication that whenever an uptick in the company or sector comes in, first they start hiring. So tell us where light at the end of the tunnel, where things are looking bright. Where do you think the economic bottom or the earnings bottom has troughed out?
When we analyzed it some time back, we believe that the bottoming out has actually happened, and the only way is actually way up from now onwards. Having said that, when we look at the kind of opportunities that we are kind of pursuing currently, most of them, like I said, are in the BFSI space. Some key, not all in the BFSI space, but there are certain select enterprises that have been hiring. E-commerce companies have been hiring. Some of them have actually, because this is the season for them too. October, November, December, Jan is also the season for them. So they have been hiring. Logistics companies have been hiring. The warehousing companies have been hiring. So this is where we are seeing the growth. There was a report that was put out by the Staffing Federation early this year, and that report was actually bang on. They said a large part of the growth over the next 18 to 24 months is going to come from some of these sectors. And the way it's playing out currently, it's absolutely in line with what the report said.
Okay, so far this fiscal, traction in general staffing has been about 20%, Ravi, while specialized staffing has been actually about 30%. HR services has dipped, however. How's Q3 shaping up in terms of this breakup, and how's the run rate holding up if you were to actually break it up across these segments?
We've always held the view that staffing, the general staffing business for us, would grow between 20 and 25% every year, no matter what, because the market opportunity is really large, and there is a large amount of conversion that's happening from the informal to the formal sector. That's as far as general staffing is concerned. Now, coming to specialized staffing, we do believe the growth in the specialized staffing could be anywhere between a 20 to 30% every year, and so that's again in line with what we believe is actually the right kind of outlook. Given that most of the IT companies are just now warming up to the concept of outsourcing manpower. Until now, most companies have actually hired people on their own. The concept of outsourcing or using a contract workforce has never been on people or has never been on IT companies' minds, and only that is changing now. Now, other HR services for us, especially given the government business, is going to go down for us over the next couple of years because we really don't want to sign on any more new government projects. Just continue with the existing ones and replace the government business with corporate trading business. So you would probably see some kind of a dip in my other HR services, which is not a bad dip because the dip will actually contribute to better margins for us. So that's in summary. I mean, I can't share more than that, but that's in summary for how the three verticals for us are looking as of now.
All right. So compared to H1 revenue then of about 2,500 crores with EBITDA margins at 1.8%, what should we expect in H2?
We're expecting to do better. See, always for us, H2 has always been, H2 has always been a better half year for us compared to H1 historically, and we don't see this year to be any kind of an exception. If anything, the H2 in the current year would probably be better than what it was in the previous years, actually.
All right, appreciate your time and thank you for joining us, and I sincerely hope that better days are here. By the way, before you go, should India expect wage hike for FY21?
I would not want to do any kind of guessing on that because wage hikes happen all the time. Wage hikes happen all the time. There's a market demand which actually drives wage growth. So, I mean, we've always said there's no such thing as an Indian labor market. There are labor markets according to different locations, and that's what drives wage hikes and kind of minimum wages. So I don't think we would probably be seeing a wage hike in 2021.
I don't know whether I want to archive this interview or not, but I get the message right now.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.